No. Come on, girly. Come on. You don't want to get groomed? Let's go. Yeah, this Miss Piper.
What's up, YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. If you've been here before, thank you for returning. If you are new to the channel, make sure you like and subscribe and share this video if you like what you see. Today, you saw the title. This is Piper. She is back. We are doing an updated video on her so y'all can see how she did her second time here. Without further ado, let's get straight into the video. Per usual, we're going to be doing her prep work, so we're going to be doing her paw pads, her nails, and her sanitary area. If y'all have not seen the video, I will link it up in the card. It's going to be in the top right hand corner. She came in, I would say, about 8 weeks after her original appointment, and as you can see, she is doing 10 times better than she did the very first time she's come in. And I do believe it's because she's with the same person and she is starting to get on a more of a consistent schedule. Excuse me, I did say 8 weeks. My apologies. She came in 6 weeks after her original appointment, which is why her hair is not super long, but they love the cut that I did on her last time, so they wanted me to do the same haircut again. Now, if you guys seen the last video, you saw that she was probably like 6 or 7 inches long, probably a lot longer than that, and I cut her down pretty short and they were in love with the haircut. They said it helped them a lot maintain her at home. They were happy about how short I got her face because she does struggle with her face at home as well, so it made them pretty happy, and it made me happy to know that they love the haircut. And as you can see right there, I am giving her praise because, again, like I said, she is doing 10 times better than she did the very first time. I was actually very surprised to see how much she has grown in the growth in her getting comfortable with me grooming her. But again, it's because of how I handled her the very first time she came in to see me. She understood that I wasn't going to hurt her. She understood that she wasn't going to get hurt. And she realized that the grooming process was actually pretty easy once she actually let it happen. So her very first time here, I said in the video that she had a smell to her, and I couldn't pinpoint what it was, and a lot of people in the comments were saying that it was her anal glands. Well, it wasn't her anal glands. I did find that out after I groomed her, and when she came back this visit is when I actually found out what it actually was. So she has a skin condition, and I put that in the comments in the last video. I don't remember what the skin condition was called, but she does have a skin condition. So when she came in this visit, she had bumps all along her back that the mom said that she had been trying to like itch at. So this visit, what we did was an apricot exfoliating shampoo on her, because I think her pores were clogged. I do believe that that happens in dogs, and that also causes the bumps on her back, but her coat and her skin was really oily, and the apricot exfoliating shampoo tends to dry that out. Now, I did go back in with a conditioner after I washed her to re-moisturize it so her skin wasn't dry too much, but she had a lot of oil buildup on her coat, and the exfoliating shampoo helped to remove a lot of that excess oil. But just re-watching her groom and seeing how good she's doing, it just really warms my heart because she really struggled the very first time, especially with the bath. So I want y'all to pay attention to this. The very last time she came in and I was washing her face, she completely freaked from me wetting her face. Just watch how she is doing so much better for her face. She's not perfect. No dog is perfect, but she did so much better for me wetting her face because she realizes she's not being hurt. It was just so amazing to watch. I was like, I really gave her a lot of praise that day because I was like, wow, Piper, you are doing amazing, and I'm so happy she is. So as you all know, and for the new people who don't know, I typically have a topic in my videos that we talk about. It's usually about dog grooming or dog nutrition or anything that'll help new groomers, people at home that is grooming, learning how to groom their dog. As a matter of fact, new people as well as old subscribers, people who have been here from the start, if you are a pet parent at home grooming your dog, let me know in the comments, what are some things that you want me to talk about or elaborate on in the video that may help you with grooming at home or grooming your dog at home. But I do want to tell you what the topic is. I honestly sometimes feel like I have ADD because I'll start talking about something and then I'll completely switch to something else and forget about what I was talking about and then go back. See, I'm already on a tangent. I'm already on a tangent. But what I want to talk about today, I want to talk about skin conditions in dogs, but not like every skin condition because that's such a broad spectrum. And I really shouldn't say skin condition, more so skin issues or even coat issues. So the biggest thing that I do notice in dogs in the South, a lot of dogs down here have allergies to yeast. And it has been so crazy to see that almost every single dog down here, not every dog, but almost every single dog down here that I've seen while working there, their paws are inflamed. The fur on their paws is burgundy, around their face is burgundy. Even my dog's allergies enhanced when she got down here. So I kind of want to touch base on that and kind of give some tips and tricks as to what I'm doing at home that will help you or might possibly help you that's been helping my dog. So what I've noticed with certain dogs that have issues with yeast is their coat will thin out, their paws will get inflamed, they will have excess tearing around their eyes, they'll also have a lot of staining around their mouth, and then if they lick anywhere on their body, they also have staining on their body as well. Some dogs also have hot spots. They have inflamed hot spots on their body where it could peel off, different things like that. Now luckily for me, my dog's issues are not that severe. She doesn't have hot spots. She does have a very thin coat that I'm working on right now. I have figured out my old man's coat, but he's been on the homemade diet for quite some time now, so he has already adjusted to it and it's doing very well for him. But my other dog, Yazzie, my middle child, I'll say. Well, actually not the middle child, she's the youngest child. Bella is the middle child. So Yazzie is the youngest one. Youngest child. But Yazzie is the youngest one, and she has the most issues with yeast, where her, like I said, her coat is really thin. She had really bad tear stains that I seem to have gotten under control. It seems like they have stopped. She went through a spout of burgundy paws, like where her paws were getting inflamed, and then the fur around her paws were so red. And if I could show or insert a clip on here of how different she looks, I would love to, but unfortunately I don't. But she looks very different. But real quick, before we hop into what is helping her and how I'm actually changing their diet, and then I'll put an updated video on the diet change. Just let me know if y'all want me to do that. So haircut wise on Piper, what I'm doing is a reverse 1 guard comb. The last time she came in, I did a 5 blade on her body and a 1 guard comb on her face. And last time when I did the 5 blade on her body, I went with the grain. And I went with the grain because her hair was so long. But because her hair wasn't super long this time, I actually went against the grain with a 1 guard comb because I knew that would look better and clean her up nicely as opposed to going with the grain with a 5. Also, when dogs have this type of coat texture and it's not long like this, going with the grain with any type of longer blade, it may not cut much off. And I knew when I cut her last time, her haircut was smooth to her body, so I knew that I had to go against the grain to make the haircut match the same as last time. And as you can see, I am rubbing the clippers behind her head because if you guys remember the last video, this is where she struggled the most, which this time she actually did pretty good. So I think because the clippers were going against the grain and not really starting at the top of her head, she did a lot better. Another great thing about going against the grain is you never have to switch the blade. And for groomers out there, and even people who are learning to groom their dogs at home, you know sometimes that can add to the time that you are grooming your dog, and they can get antsy while you're switching the blade. So because you're already doing 2 steps up on the body in reverse, you already have the blade that you're supposed to do on the head on the clippers, because 2 steps up from a 5 is a 1/2 inch, and that's what you would want to do on the head anyway. So it kind of saves you a little bit of time there. Now, what I had to do on her legs, because I didn't think the reverse guard comb would catch, I had to go with the grain on her legs. So I did a 5 on her legs with the grain, and that made everything blend nice and smooth. And I'm combing her because I'm trying to get all the flakes off of her, but I'm also trying to get off the loose hair that's on her after you clipper the fur. So now that we have gone over the haircut and what we're doing on her haircut wise, we're going to hop straight into the topic. So as I stated earlier, one of my dogs, Yazzie, has some issues with yeast on her body, which have gotten significantly better. Her coat for a very long time was very thin. It was very dull, very dry. But now that she's on a home cooked diet, and she's been on it for, I'm going to say she's been on it for about 1.5 to 2 months. Her coat has gotten a bit thicker, and her coat is not as dry. There's definitely some shine to it. She just looks all around a lot healthier, and her eyes are starting to look better. She still has staining from the fur that was already there, but I'm trying to figure out the best shampoo to wash on her face that will lessen the staining, that is not as harsh in chemicals, that's okay for her. Now, in terms of the food that I was feeding her, I will link the card up in the video about right here, and it'll again be in the right hand corner, so you're able to see what I was feeding her. And now I'm going to be switching up their diet, so I'm going to record that once I cook it in the next couple days, and you'll be able to see what I am using on her moving forward. Now again, I stated earlier in the video that a lot of dogs down here in the South have an issue with allergies. It's typically a yeast allergy. Sometimes it's an environmental allergy, but a lot of the times the yeast in their body stems from their diet, because it's what's going in the body, what's staying in the body, and then what's overly producing the yeast. So if you have a dog that has really red skin, if the dog has hot spots all the time and they're like peeling and look a little scabby, sometimes they can be really red and inflamed and raw. It can look dry. It can kind of look like almost like glue was left on your dog and you peel it off. You know how when you were younger you played with glue? I think it was Elmer's glue, and sometimes you would put it on your skin and you would peel it. That's kind of sometimes what yeast looks like in dogs on their skin. It can also thin out their fur. It can also cause staining in their fur. So if you ever see a dog with tear stains, that'll happen with the yeast, as well as when they lick their fur or bite at a spot that itches, that spot will start to stain as well. That is actually one of the biggest signs that you can tell that your dog has a yeast issue, and it's probably connected to your dog's food and what they're eating. Now, if you do see that your dog has a yeast issue, the biggest thing you want to do if your dog is on a dry food is you want to get them on a grain-free food. And you want to get them on a high-quality grain-free food, not just like a low-quality or bare minimum, because certain things in that food your dog can still have issues with. So you want to get them on a higher quality grain-free food. I always recommend Instinct Raw. Instinct Raw is a phenomenal food. I had my dogs on this food called Essence, and although it didn't inflame their allergies, it made them itch really bad. Like, they were itching 24/7. And it's not to say that that food is not a good quality food. It is a good quality food. I did notice that their yeast was like non-existent then, but they were still itching a lot. So something in the food, I believe that they both were allergic to, so I got them both off of that food and I switched to a homemade diet. What you can do if you're going to do a homemade diet, 3 things that you want to put in your food. 3 big vegetables, I'll say they are, because I don't know if one is a vegetable, but I know the other 2 are. Kale, that's one vegetable you want to put in your dog's food. Broccoli, that's another vegetable you want to put in your dog's food. And then you also want to put in garlic. Forgive me if I sound ignorant, but I don't know if garlic is a vegetable or not. It may be. Y'all can correct me in the comments. Please do, actually. But garlic is big. That is big. That is really, really good. That'll bind to the heavy metals in their stomach and then also clear out the heavy metals in their stomach. And the heavy metals is what produces the yeast. You also want to add apple cider vinegar to their diet. Apple cider vinegar acts the same way as garlic. It attacks those heavy metals and it'll help remove them from the body so the yeast can slow down the growth process. Now, if home cooking your dog's meal might be too much, because it is time consuming, not so much on the expensive side because you can find cheap meats at your local grocery store, but it is time consuming to make. I will say most of the time it does take up a big part of my day. Like, I'll set a day out to just remake their food, but it is a bit time consuming. So if it is too much time on your hands and you want to opt for a higher quality dog food, you can. Like I said, Instinct Raw is really good. I would try that. And Nulo has a hidden gem in their line. It is a white and blue bag. I'm going to see if I can find the picture of it. If I do find the picture of it, it'll be popped right here on the screen. If not, I'll try and link it down below. It is a really, really good dog food. It is a hidden gem. I've recommended that to so many dogs. Well, I guess I can't say I recommend it to the dogs. I recommend it to the owners. And they switched their dog on it, and it has made such a big difference with their dog's skin issues. It is working, again, like I said, from the inside out and making the yeast kind of die down so it doesn't grow as fast and as rapidly, so they can kind of attack it head on. Now, with that being said, I don't want to touch too long on this because we are coming up to the end of the video, but I do want to talk about why I don't generally recommend dry food and why I recommend a home cooked diet or a raw diet before I recommend a dry food, and I recommend a dry food worst case scenario as the last case scenario. So the reason why I don't usually recommend a dry food is because most dry foods have corn, wheat, and soy in it. That's why I said to go to a very high quality dry food, because you will find less things in that food that your dog will be allergic to. But most cheap brands like Purina, Royal Canin, Science Diet, all of those brands use corn, wheat, and soy, and those are extremely cheap fillers, and that is what produces the yeast in your dog's body, and that is what is causing your dog to have such a severe allergic reaction to it. Dog food just in general is not really made for dogs, if that makes sense. It's not good for dogs, if that makes sense. I know it's tailored for dogs and it's quote unquote made for dogs, but it's really made for the consumer to purchase something that will last a little bit longer, that's a little bit on the inexpensive side, which most of them are not really on the inexpensive side. Again, like I said, do your own research, but what I usually tell everybody who I'm talking to about dog food and their dog having allergies, if there was a bag of food made for humans that could last 3 years, would you buy that for yourself and would you eat it? Probably not. Real quick, I was watching these YouTubers and they were eating this big bucket of food, and it was end of the world food, and the food was disgusting. It was. So think about what you're feeding your dogs when you're buying them bagged dog food. That is food that is set on a shelf for 1, 2, 3 years that is quote unquote healthy for your dog. It's not healthy for your dog. It's why your dog has so many allergies. It's also why your dog could have health issues or contribute heavily to your dog's health issues. So I encourage everybody to do their own research. I know I say this in every video, but it's very important that you do your own research and just trust the process of making your own dog's food, because it is 100% much better for your dog. now we have come to the end of the video, and we're going to take a look at her before, and now we're going to look at her after, and she looks so cute, you guys. She did so much better. I was so proud of her and so happy. Make sure you guys drop a comment down there in the comment section. Tell me how you enjoyed the video. Make sure you hit that like button and share this video, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Love you guys.